Hi, this is Jeremy Fenster for Talmud Brilliant. Thank you for coming back, seeing you again. We are explaining how the Talmud works, the decision-making process, the give and take of the Talmud, the negotiating pattern of the Talmud, the proceedings, how that works. We want an overview. We're beginning with an overview. One of the problems people have when they learn is sometimes they get lost in the proceedings. They don't remember where they are. Are we on the for, against? The overview will help with that. We will get in further details, but we're starting with a general picture. This general overview, top down, I like to think about it not as thinking out of the box, but thinking above the box, as if being aware and being able to see when you read the Gemara or your own thinking in the decision-making process, where you are, what's happened. Getting that awareness, that's what we're about. So we're talking about the decision-making process now. I want to be able to show you those patterns. Thinking usually comes in threes. There's two different forms of that, but in the decision-making process, in a negotiation, in the give and take, it has one of those forms, and that's the one I want to explain to you today. It's called counterpoint. It's where we'll have an idea, we'll have a counterpoint to it, and we'll have a resolution. So here we have a classic three-step dance unit that's brought in all thinking and the Talmud all the time. It's having your idea, bringing the conflict, what we called previously in a previous video, a claim against, the conflict to this idea, another idea, counterpoint, and then the resolution. Solving that. In our example, where the husband says to the wife, honey, let's go out to dinner tonight, and she says, we already went out once this week. So the resolution, one possible resolution, will say, yeah, that was for hamburgers and meat. This time we'll go out for fish. So he resolved it. He gave a reason. Now, one of the things is, when you have the resolution, it kind of goes back to the original idea. Has modified the original idea. Now, if we set over the original idea, we would say, the husband would be saying to the wife, honey, let's go out for fish tonight. That only happened, was not what he originally said. What he originally says, let's go out for dinner. Because of this counterpoint, because of the conflict point, where she brought up a reason against going out, did he have to modify? It may have been his original intention, it may not have been, to say, let's go out for fish. And that's going to be his idea. That change, that metamorphosis of the idea is very important to us. It happens all the time. People do it all the time. So let's take now an example of that same process from a Gemara. This is a Gemara in Bava Kama, in Perek Hameniach, right in the beginning, where the Mishnah tells the story like this. That a man comes along and he puts down his jug in the public thoroughfare. Another person, a walker, comes along and stumbles on that jug and breaks it. So the Mishnah tells us the person who broke it doesn't have to pay for it. It's not liable. So, and that's our statement. The statement is, the idea is that he's not liable in that case, where he stumbles over the jug in the public domain. The Gemara will come over with a counter idea and say, really? He's not liable, doesn't have to pay for it? Why? He should have to pay for it. Counter idea, counterpoint. He should have to pay for it, and I'll tell you why. Because people have to watch where they're going. Step 2. Step 3 is going to be a resolution. Actually, in that Gemara piece, there are 3 resolutions. We'll say one of Rav, which is that, no. This was a case where the whole roadbed was filled up with jugs. And the man, the walker, could not get through. So therefore, when he walked through and broke one, he's not going to be liable. Specifically in that scenario. So you see what happened again was the resolution modified the original idea. The original idea was that the walker, when he goes through, he trips on the jug, breaks it, he's not liable. Now we would say over the story like this: when the worker goes through and the roadbed is full, and he trips and he breaks a jug, that's when he's not liable. Very similar to our story about the husband and wife and going out for dinner. I just want to add another point. When we have any movement like this, and we'll see, this is a classic, we'll see another classic in the next video. So there are three possibilities, which probably are obvious, but need to be thought about, enunciated, to be aware about. There is the possibility that it is really two people with two ideas, the idea man and the conflict man. That's possible. And normally we talk about it like that because that's kind of like the standard in life and even in the Talmud. But it doesn't have to be that way. It could also be that both these ideas, even though they're in conflict, are by one narrator. And he's not saying over his own personal ideas. He's just telling us, look, we could look at it, the situation like this, or we could look at it in a conflicting way like this. The third possibility is one person alone is working out his own thoughts, and he can have an idea, and then he himself can say, that's not such a great idea, and whatever the reason is going to be why, and he then can come back and resolve for the original idea. And that's what we do, really, when we're thinking out a problem in our own minds. We go through that process, which will be the same, whatever the scenario will be. Two people with two different ideas, a narrator with two different ideas, but he's just telling they're not his, he's just telling you over, or one person really thinking out his own thing. So that, I know it may be obvious, it's important to be aware of it. The Talmud, you have all three things happening. Not at the same time, obviously, but at different times. That's it for today. Please click the like. In the next video, by the way, we're going to take another set of three, which we see all the time in the Talmud and in our own thinking. It really comes in these two forms, this one and the one we'll show in the next video. Click down the like, please, subscribe, go over to the website, talmudbrilliant.com. You'll be able to have a place there to sign in, give us your email address so we can send you more information on what's going on. And until we see you next time, please keep your mind moving. Thank you.